and you are welcome to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, your weekday news analysis show where we review and analyze the news and also talk about issues affecting us as citizens of Nigeria, ranging from politics to health to education and other topical stories making rounds in the country. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, comment, and share the video for others to be part of the conversation. And you can also call us live on the studio. Join the conversation on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. All right, so please ensure that when you call in or when you drop a comment, let it be very clean and very civil. So this morning we'll be talking about the governance in Africa. Let's take a look at what is happening in Africa. What is going on? Are we really practicing democracy? Or are we all pretending that this is what we are doing? All right, before we do that, let's take a look at the top stories on today's papers. All right, so PDP consensus deal shatters as Lamido rejects Turaki. That's on Punch newspaper. So just when it looks like the PDP was finally getting its acts together ahead of the next month's national convention, there's a fresh crack in between. The former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido isn't happy at all. He claims that the person that they've agreed to put as the national chairman is not really what everybody wants. So he's openly rejecting that choice of Taminu Turaki as the party's consensus candidate for national chairman. So Lamido says that the so-called consensus it was not agreed by everyone. He claims that he was not consulted. He himself was not consulted before the decision was made. And to make the matters worse, Lamido says that he went to the party's headquarters to buy his own form, so he will be able to contest. And he says that the offices were locked and no one knew where the forms were. So he's now threatening to head to court. If he's denied the chance to contest, he's going to court if the PDP denies him the chance to contest. All right, so meanwhile, the PDP has suspended the screening of aspirants, blaming unforeseen circumstances. That's less than a month to a big convention in Ibadan. All right, so this issue, the Turaki supporters are brushing off this whole drama, saying that Turaki has already completed his form and submitted properly, that everything is in order. All right, it's another messy moment for PDP. They really need to get their acts together. They need to be united. Because, see, we are seeing 2027 now. We have APC, we have PDP. If you are not united, you cannot fight another party. You cannot contest against another party and win the election. So there has to be something done internally. You have to unite within yourself before you be able to come together and fight another party. All right, so next on the newspaper, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is firing a major warning. He's firing in a new opinion piece titled, "A Nation Gripped in the Throes of Fear." Atiku accuses President Bola Tinubu of turning Nigeria into a police state. He says that citizens, journalists, and activists are now being harassed. They are now being arrested for speaking their minds. And he says that the president is now becoming a dictator. that the leadership is now becoming a dictatorship and not, we are no longer living in democracy. So article claims the government has turned the Cyber Stalking Act, meant to fight online abuse, into a tool for silencing critics. I mean, what kind of government does not take critics? No matter what you do in life, there are people that are going to support you, and there are people that are going to come against you, oppose you. So if at every chance you have, you are arresting the people that are speaking against you, because where does accountability come from? People will not always support you. There are mistakes that you make that people need to call you out for. So Atiku is trying to balance the whole thing, allow people to speak their minds, allow them to say what is on their mind, what they are seeing. It's now left for you as a president, as a leader, to welcome what they are saying and maybe find a way to do something about it, and not by arresting, and not by, we've seen what has been happening in the recent times. We see protesters being arrested. It's not supposed to be so. Peaceful people protesting, and they claim that they are causing public disturbance, and it's not supposed to be so in a country, in a democratic country like Nigeria. All right, so we still remain hopeful. We still remain hopeful that in 2027, elections will be a very defining moment. It's going to be a defining moment for Nigeria. All right, next on the newspaper, Nigerians we still struggle with the rising cost of living. Top government officials, leaders are shifting the spotlights to the states. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is asking the citizens to hold the state governors accountable, the local government officials accountable, that there's enough money for development in all the states. There's enough money to build for projects, to build roads, to empower people in the states. So it says that the government, the federal government, is already funding the states, that the state has enough to do anything that they want to do. All right, so the national chairman, Nentawa, APC national chairman, Nentawa Yewalda, they are urging citizens to hold state governors and local government chairmen accountable for how they spend the increased revenue allocation they now receive. All right, so he said that the monthly federal allocation have grown from 400 billion naira to 2.2 trillion naira. That is what the state governments are now receiving, as claimed by the APC national chairman. That is what he says. So the state governments are now receiving 2.2 trillion naira monthly. That's a lot of money to do a lot of things in the states. So if from their opinion, from their claims, if your state governor is not doing anything, go and hold them accountable so that they can fix those roads, they can fix those hospitals, they can fix those schools, and do something better with the money that they are receiving. So we are demanding, we need to demand more from our governors. We need to demand more from our local government officials. Yes. All right. So next we see that President Bola Tinubu on Monday held his first closed-door meeting with the newly appointed service chiefs. All right, the meeting, which lasted for about 40 minutes, came just days after a major shakeup in the military hierarchy. They were appointed on October 24th. All right, so the president reportedly charged the new chiefs to raise the bar in the fight against insecurity, banditry, especially in the northern states. Yes, we read news every day. You can scroll through the newspapers, you can go through the news sites, and you don't see killings, you do not see kidnappings. So they've been charged to fight against banditry, to do something against about the insecurity going on in the country. All right, so the new top military officers include General Olufemi Oluyede, the Chief of Defense Staff. And we have the Chief of Army Staff in the person of Major General YD Shaibu. Okay, we also have the Chief of Air Staff, the Air Vice Marshal SK Aneke, and the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Ibrahim Abbas. All right, Tinubu praised the outgoing service chiefs for their service and urged the new team to justify the confidence reposed in them through professionalism and renewed commitment. All right, meanwhile, the opposition ADC, African Democratic Congress, has called for greater transparency over the alleged coup plot, and the reasons behind the sudden military reshuffle. All right, let's see what next we have on the newspaper. Okay, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, they've announced plans to begin a nationwide indefinite strike from Saturday, November 1st, 2025. And their reason is over unpaid allowances and the unfulfilled promises by the federal government. So there's been a lot of promises made by the federal government to the resident doctors. But because it has not been fulfilled, they are planning a nationwide strike. All right, and we know that this is going to affect us as citizens, because if they shut down completely, where are we going to be receiving treatment? Where are we? So this is why we urge the president to step in quickly to do something about it. All right, so the president, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, said that salaries have remained stagnant for 16 years. There's no promotion, there's no additional money added to the salaries. So he claims that despite the heavier workloads and staff shortages, the salaries have remained the same. And we all know in the health sector how people are running away at every chance, every opportunity that the nurses have, that the doctors have, they run away to another country where they believe is better for them. So there's a lot of brain drain in the health sector. So the president has urged the National Association of Resident Doctors president has urged President Bola Tinubu to step in and fix the situation. So we don't have to allow them to go on strike before we start calling for meetings, before we start doing something. They need to step in now before they go on strike. I mean, no government should allow their unions, the bodies, to go on strike after a 30-day ultimatum. All right, let's see if there's more on the newspaper headlines. Tinubu Obasanjo lead dignitaries to honor late Christopher Kolade. All right, and 92-year-old Bia's 8th term win sparks protest in Cameroon. Natasha broke penal code in attacks on Akpabio and Bello. HEF says that Natasha broke penal code in attacks on Akpabio and Bello. All right, so this morning, that is what we have on the newspaper headlines. If you have any opinion to make on what has been read so far, yes, you can call us on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. Or you can leave a comment on our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Subscribe, like, and share the video. All right, yes, this is High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, where we review and analyze the news and also talk about issues affecting us as citizens of Nigeria. All right, moving on to what we have this morning. Okay, across Africa today, we see that the leaders rise through the ballots. Yes, the leaders rise through the ballot. We conduct elections every now and then. and people take on the positions of the presidency and other positions in the countries. But how many truly rule by the people's will? How many of those leaders are leading us by our own will? Are we living in democracy? This is the question I'm asking this morning. Are we truly living in Africa as a whole? I'm not just talking about Nigeria. In Africa, are we living in democracies? Or are we all pretending that yes, we are living in democracy while we are not? Let's take a look at what has happened in Cameroon, in Ivory Coast. Because from these countries to Nigeria, there are some things that keeps repeating that we need to tackle this morning. Because when we look at it, the leadership is under the microscope. In Igbo, they will say, "Ane hear you." We are looking at this. We need to understand. We don't really understand what's going in the leadership in this African nation. We fought for freedom. We fought for independence. But yet, the leaders, most of the leaders have refused to give the people independence. So what's the purpose of fighting for it? Why did we fight for independence? If it cannot be given to the people, if the voice of the people does not really matter, why exactly did we fight for it? All right, so this morning we are looking at Cameroon. Cameroon, a 92-year-old president, Paul Biya, has been declared the president of Cameroon. Do you know why it's all funny? I don't know if I should use the word funny. This man is 92-year-old, and he has been ruling Cameroon since he was 49 years old. That is 43 years in leadership as the president of Cameroon. And just on Saturday, over the weekend, they conducted another election. And yes, he won again. Surprisingly, he won again. This is the 8th consecutive time that he's winning the election, that is becoming the president of Cameroon. I mean, for over 43 years old, which means if you are in Cameroon, you were born there, and you are 43 and below, it means you've not met any other president. This has been the person ruling over the years for 43 years. That's a long period of time to rule a country that says it is democratic. I mean, they keep conducting election, but it's still the same name. I mean, how is it democracy if you can predict the leader? If you can predict the person that is going to win, then how is it a democracy? We are asking this question because it keeps happening in the African countries. People come out to vote for the person that they want, and they see another name. And they wonder, how did it happen? This is not our candidate. This is not the people's choice. This is not who we voted for. This is not who we want in power. But at the end of the day, the person keeps re-emerging as the president. Imagine one person ruling for 43 years old. For 43 years, one person ruling. You know, we talked about this in this program. I think it was last month, or maybe early this month. We talked about when we were talking about the life presidency, when Tinubu was accused of life, that is going to that life presidency like Paul Biya. Yes, we referred back to this man, this same man, the president of Cameroon. And here it is happening right before our eyes again. He's now the president. Yesterday, he was declared the winner of the just concluded election in Cameroon. And one would wonder, is he really the person that the people want? because reports said that he is not physically strong. So imagine a 92-year-old man that is not physically strong ruling the people. And this term is till 2032. So he has from now till 2032, if he lives to rule the people, a 92-year-old man. I mean, when is the time for, when are people supposed to retire? When are people supposed to rest? On this same program, I made mention that the daughter of this man, Paul Biya, told the people of Cameroon not to vote the father because he has put the people in a lot of pain. He has put them in a lot of pain. So if the daughter can come out and say something like this, do you think that people would really come out in masses to vote for the same man? So it leaves me asking this same question again. Is Africa practicing democracy? Or are we all pretending that this is what we are doing? Are we all pretending? Because we need to look at it. The oppositions are against the results. They claim that this is not the right person. But again, this is Africa. No matter how you claim that, once the result has been announced, you can go to court. The person still remains in seat, rules for 4 years, comes out again and contests for election. When is it all going to change? When is it going to be better? When will the voices of the people reflect? Because we keep shouting, we keep talking about democracy. We see what happens we see protests in different countries in Africa. And when security agencies are shooting, security agencies are just killing people that just came out for protests. We see it happen over the time. I mean, if it's happening just in Nigeria, we say it's a Nigerian thing. But it feels like it's happening all over Africa. What do we need as Africans? Why have we not really gotten it right? This term, democracy, why are we still struggling to be independent? Do we need to bring back the colonial rule? Should we bring it back? Is it better? What are we going to do differently to make all this better, to make Africa a place that we can live? Without all these fights, without all these disputes. Because look at the election that has just happened. On paper, they said that it was a peaceful election, that it was peaceful. But you look around, there were protests. People were not happy with it. People were not happy with the way the election was conducted. People were not happy with people are not happy with the results. So if majority of the citizens are not happy with the results, then who voted the man in? I mean, we are talking of 43 years in leadership, in power. Are you not tired? I mean, what is it that you want to do in another 7 years, 8 years that you couldn't do in 43 years of being the president of Cameroon? A 92-year-old man. So when does this leadership become ownership? Like you now own the seat belongs to you till you die. Till you die. That's when it can move to another person. But as long as you are alive, the seat is yours permanently. So it just feels like the election that is being conducted is just for necessity's sake. Let's just do it. So the people will still feel that we are in democracy. Meanwhile, the result has been written. The winner has been declared before the election was conducted. This is Africa. We need change. We need things to start working right. In this continent, in our nation, in our countries, we need things to work right. And it's not just Cameroon. Because in Ivory Coast, they also conducted election. And yesterday, they declared the president. And the fifth time, becoming the president of Ivory Coast. So it's happening in Cameroon. It's happening in Ivory Coast. Now let me explain what happened in Ivory Coast. The oppositions were disqualified. Two strong oppositions were disqualified. They said one has a dual citizenship. And that's the reason for the disqualification. And the other one was as a result of past convictions. That was why he was disqualified. And now the president now happened to President Alassane. He now happened to win with over 90% votes. With over 90% votes. He just secured his fourth term as the president of Ivory Coast. Now, when you look at these two countries, you still have a feeling that, yes, Nigeria is still sane. Because Nigeria is still keeping to the 2 terms. You cannot serve more than the 2 terms. Yes, come and do your 8 years. And then leave for other people. But what led to these countries to allow, because it wasn't like this, I believe it wasn't like this at a point. And then they started normalizing it. 43 years, one person is still ruling a democratic country. For how many years? The 4th time. Another person is still ruling in Ivory Coast, one person. So what is democracy? If people cannot air their views, if people's voice cannot count, if people's votes, they will come out and vote, it will not count. What is democracy? If it's not working in Africa, maybe can we find something else that is working in Africa? If this is not working, we can find something else that is working in Africa. Something that everyone will accept and now say, yes, this is what we are practicing. And this is what we are seeing. But can we boldly come out and say that we are practicing democracy? Meanwhile, this is not what we are seeing. With our eyes wide open, we are not seeing democracy in most of these African countries. So yes, what about you? What do you think? Because yes, on paper they will keep telling you for the other countries to feel that there was peaceful election, that everything went well, that everything was coordinated, it was done properly. But we heard that 8 lives were lost. They lost 8 lives in Ivory Coast during this election. And so many people were injured during this election. There was low voter turnout. I mean, in Africa, we've seen a lot of apathy. People are no longer interested to come out and vote because of what they are seeing. People are not. Yes, this is High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM. Call in and tell us what you think about this. Make your contribution. The phone lines are open on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, share the video for others to be part of the conversation. And yes, you didn't think I was only trying to talk about Ivory Coast and Cameroon. Let's talk about what's happening in Nigeria. All right, just recently, yesterday, I saw in news in Edo State here. The governor of Edo State says that if you don't wear, he was talking to the commissioners, that if you don't wear the APC cap, the Asiwaju cap, that you will risk suspension from the party. I mean, who does that? Where is it done? Because I need you to call in and tell me, where exactly is it done? I need to wear the cap, the APC cap, to stay in the party. And if I refuse to do so, I will be suspended. Please make it make sense in the 21st century. Because why would a governor say something like this? He claims that it's his loyalty to the president. He says that it is because if it was not for the president, they would not be in that position. That they are all in APC. So they should declare their loyalty by wearing the cap. We all know the cap. Look at your president. You see the cap that he wears. So this is the cap that he wants the Edo State governor, wants the commissioners to wear, especially during their meetings, during the executive meetings. You should always wear it. It's raising a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. I mean, is it by wearing the cap? Is that how you have to become loyal to someone? Besides, are they not supposed to be loyal to the people? To the people that voted you in? I mean, why is loyalty to the politicians and not to the people? That's why it looks like everything is just people are puppets. They're just doing what this person tells them to do without thinking. Without thinking if this is right. Is this the right thing to do or not the right thing to do? But because we are showing our loyalty, let's just follow. Let's just be doing what they asked us to do. So from Cameroon to Ivory Coast to Nigeria, there's a lot of dictatorship going on. There's a lot going on in all these countries. Because why on earth do I have to wear the cap? Because I am the commissioner. Because I'm under APC. I'm now mandated to wear the APC cap as a sign of loyalty to the president. We really need to understand what is going on in Edo State. Because leadership should be about performance. It needs to be about performance and not the other way around. It's not about dressing, what you wear. Leadership has to be about the policy, the progress. Is there progress in these states? Now, since we are in Edo State, is there progress in Edo State? Or is the major concern, major priority, is it on wearing the caps? Because what really profits us if you wear the APC cap and you are not doing any job, you are not doing your work, you are not doing your job, what profit is it to us, to the citizens, to the ones who put you in that power? Is it of any benefit? But then, it's up to them. Whatever you want to do, please just ensure that there is development in those states. No matter how loyal you want to be to the leaders, to your politicians, ensure that there's development in the states that you govern. Just like the Senate president said that we should hold our governors accountable, because they are now collecting, their allocation is now 2.2 trillion naira from 400 billion naira monthly. So they are to be held accountable. What are you doing? What is the progress of the state? What is the progress? What have you accomplished as a governor in your state? What have you done so far? Are we seeing the things that we are supposed to see? Are we seeing the good roads? Are we seeing the hospitals? Are we seeing the schools? So we don't care why you wear the cap. Please do what you are supposed to do. But I still feel it is not right. Because there are some people, some of the commissioners, who might not want to. But because it sounds like a threat, you'll be suspended if you do not do this. So they don't have any other option than to just go ahead and do what the governor says. They have no option. Because when this political loyalty becomes compulsory, it's now like you are forced to be loyal to President Bola Tinubu. You are now forced to be loyal to the APC. All right, 0706 048 5853 0915 570 8347. Yes, callers, and let us know what you think about what we've been saying this morning. What is your contribution? What is your opinion about the leadership, the way the leadership in Africa is going? Here in Nigeria and in other countries in this continent. What do you think? How is it really going? What's the direction? Where is it leading us to? Are we practicing democracy like we claim? Because October is almost coming to an end. Yes, we are grateful. It's almost coming to an end. October, November, December, and then we see 2026. Before you know it, it's election. So what's happening in these other countries? Is it going to happen in the 2027 election? Or will our voice truly matter? Is our voice going to matter this time around? Is our votes, are they going to count? Because this is also in line with the complaint that the former Vice President Atiku made about people not being allowed to speak freely. Activists, politicians, journalists, even the opposition parties, you just come out and you criticize the government. You become an enemy. You become a threat to the government. They're arresting you. They're harassing you at every point that they have. Because they don't feel that anybody should come and criticize them. They feel that everyone should support what they are doing. So we keep shouting democracy. Nigeria is practicing democracy. Africa is practicing democracy. But we do not see it. We do not see it in the results after the elections. We did not see it in the actions of the leaders. We do not see it at all. So it makes us wonder, these African leaders, are they shaping followers? Or they are just training people that will come and worship them? Worshippers, that's what they want. No matter what you do, right or wrong, we just come and we worship you. We can't point you to the wrong that you are doing. And it's totally wrong. It's totally bad that there's no freedom of speech, no matter how we want to justify it. People are not allowed to talk freely. In this country, in the continent, people are not allowed to speak freely. And it shouldn't be so. But this is a platform where you can air your view. Call us and know what you think. What exactly is going on? What exactly should be done? In what ways should all these things be done right? In Africa, in Nigeria, what way should we, the leaders, how should they lead us? 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. Drop your comments on our YouTube channel on iVoltage. Yes, remember you can subscribe, join the community. Yes, increase the community. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on iVoltage News. We would love to have you become part of us. So this issue is really something that we need to tackle. From Cameroon's endless presidency, endless 43 years in power. That is a lot. That is a lot. From Cameroon's endless presidency to Ivory Coast selective democracy. Disqualifying two big opposition. Let me give you this scenario here in Nigeria. Imagine in 2027, the oppositions like Atiku, like Obi, is being disqualified. What do you now think happens? So that's what happened in Ivory Coast. Two top opposition disqualified, and then the president was re-elected as claimed by the people that they were re-elected. So all this, even the loyalty in Nigeria, this pattern, it keeps emerging. The pattern of we are loyal to the core. We do all that you ask us to do without thinking otherwise. This pattern of this is my seat. I own this seat. It is my place. It is my turn. And it ends up becoming their seat. They end up owning the place, owning the position. Something that should move from one person to the other is now in one person's hand for 43 years and counting. Africa, when is the leadership going to be better? When are we going to be better? That is the question we are asking this morning. When will everything become right? When will the leaders decide that the people's voices matters? That the people's vote matters? That it counts? When are they going to leave this form of dictatorship? When will they stop ruling and start serving? Because why are you a leader if you cannot serve? But we see that so many people get into that position and all they want is to rule, to be authoritative, to tell, do this. If you don't do it, you're already in trouble. That is not the kind of leadership we want in Africa. That is not the kind of leadership we want in Nigeria. We hold elections. We hold, but do they still hold meaning? Do the elections still hold meanings? Or should we cancel it? Should we just scrap it off so that they can put the persons they want without stressing us, without allowing us to come out and queue under the sun, and at the end they still pick who they want? We need to grow up. We need to get better. We need to do better as a continent, as a country. We really need to do better. May the cycle not repeat. May what is going on in these countries, in Cameroon, in Ivory Coast, may it not emerge in Nigeria. Because once it starts, it will be too hard to stop. So yes, this is High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM. And as we end today's show, I leave you with this thought. If Africa's democracy were a mirror, what would your country see? Are we going to see freedom, or are we going to see fear? What is Nigeria seeing? So let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments if you are watching this on YouTube. Is Africa truly practicing democracy or just perfecting dictatorship with ballots? We keep voting. We want to hear from you. Drop it. Let's see what you think on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So thank you this morning. Thank you for being part of the program. Thank you for being part of High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, your weekday news analysis show where we review and analyze the news and also talk about the issues affecting us as citizens of Nigeria. Yes, join us again tomorrow by 9 a.m. Join us for more headlines. Join us for more analysis. And until then, ensure that you keep hoping for a better continent, for a better country, for a better Nigeria. Yes, we'll keep hoping for that. Thank you once again. My name is Odili. Have a beautiful day ahead.